So, dear students, this is Venkatachalapathi, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. I would like to discuss about extrusion and rapid prototyping question bank. What are the various pattern of the short answer questions and long answer questions, and some creative thinking question in the extrusion and rapid prototyping. And especially in this video, I would like to explain about the importance of the various questions may ask in the examination point of view. Okay, look at the main important thing of this video is the discussion on question bank in extrusion, rapid prototyping. So, in generally, the types of extrusion and the concept of prototyping, and then explain the suitable methods for developing rapid technologies in manufacturing. So, generally, this unit in manufacturing processes, extrusion, also manufacturing process, and similarly rapid prototyping, which is also called the 3D printing. So, generally, the student able to, after completion of this subject, he or she should able to explain the working principle of hot and cold extrusion process and their application in industries for making the pipes and tubes and some 3D parts. Okay, 3D printing parts also can able to design and fabricate. Okay, so let us see the two more questions or short answer questions, how they will frame for this module. So let us see the what are the metals suitable for hot extrusion. What are the metals suitable for hot extrusion? List out the limitations of direct extrusion. That is, what are the demerits of the direct extrusion? Explain the effect of friction in a extrusion process. Name the application of tube extrusion, and what is the technique used for making a cold chisels, and name some of the fluids used for hydrostatic extrusion, and how is the length of the tool and pressure related in a backward extrusion process. What is the operation used in making of a bolt heads, and what is the reciprocating speed of hydraulic punch in impact extrusion, and what are the properties that can be improved by hydrostatic extrusion. So these are the some general questions framed by the examination point of view. So even in this type of question, generally you can write the some technical point up to the mark, that is what are the metals suitable for hot extrusion. So here it is a 2-mark question. No need to write again the definition of the hot extrusion, but only what are the metals suitable for hot extrusion, either ferrous or non-ferrous. Generally, the ferrous metals, steels or cast iron, any type of metal suitable for making this hot extrusion. Where you have to, hot extrusion means the two processes can be done. One is heating process, then forming with the help of the pressure, or some presses to be used for making a some shape. Here in any extrusion comes under the metal forming process or mechanical working of metals. Here the thing is the effective amount of material can be utilized. The complete amount can be utilized. There is no wastages. The wastages will be negligible in this hot extrusion process. And coming to this, some of the limitations of direct extrusion. In general, first of all, the direct extrusion means we can also call the forward extrusion. Direct extrusion we can call it as a forward extrusion, and indirect means backward extrusion. The direct extrusion, that amount of raw material entering the coming the product in the same direction. Yes or no? The limitation means where you can able to output productivity can be improved in this direct extrusion. And limitations means you are supposed to explain about its quality and how much quantity, what is the dimensional accuracy of this product, that and also you can explain. And wherever limitations means mainly the cost of molding how it is little bit costlier. In order to reduce the cost, you can able to do mass production. Okay, and similarly, what are the applications of tube extrusion? Generally, the pipes, tubes, tube may form. We can use it the tube extrusion, where you can able to do some. The die is there, some circular shape and square, different type of shape of the tubes may be obtained in this extrusion process. The major application means in the agricultural application, you can widely use it for this tube extrusion process. And coming to this cold chisels, the chisels also make using this type of extrusion technique only. But whereas in the hydrostatic means some fluid, kerosene and paraffin, some different type of fluids to be used to form this hydrostatic extrusion, because the sound free operation is called hydrostatic, because fluid will be obtained, and how much pressure can you able to obtain, so that you can with the little pressure only can able to form the different complex shapes also. Okay, so like this, even some bolt heads also made up of this type of extrusion process. And some, what are the parameters of the hydraulic punch, how much speed which will, so impact extrusion. Generally, the toothpaste tubes are made up of this impact extrusion. So all the Colgate or what you call this close up toothpaste and all made up of the impact extrusion process. The general principle, you can see how they can manufacturing of toothpaste tube with the impact extrusion process. There will be a die and punch and blank. You can keep the blank in a horizontal. When you apply the pressure with the help of the this die, so this is called the tube will be placed, and after getting the tube shape, there will be ejector can be done. So majorly this impact extrusion made main application is toothpaste tubes and soft drinks cans and shell cases also widely used in this impact extrusion. Okay, so this non-ferrous metals also can be widely used in this impact extrusion process. Okay, and even some properties also can be improved in the hydrostatic extrusion. So generally the extrusion may be classified into, there are majorly two types, and additionally for another two types. Total four types is there. One is the forward extrusion, backward extrusion, and hydrostatic extrusion and impact extrusion. So these are the majorly the four different type of extrusions are widely used in this extrusion process. Okay, so now let us see the how we can able to explain the another short answer questions is, let us see the what are the properties that can improve by Smith extrusion. So here the term Smith means where you can use the Smith forging. There will be some operating blown thing can be used, and where you can apply the air and by heating and applying the pressure, like a open die forging process, like that you can use it. But whereas Smith forging, the major properties can be improved. Some easy forming can be done in this case, and wherever the in this properties means some mechanical and electrical properties also can be improved. Okay, and coming to this rapid prototyping, now it has been advanced technique, especially for mechanical engineers. Nowadays, 3D printing plays an important role, or rapid prototyping. So even though it has been started, I think 20 years back, especially in abroad, a lot of industries making that whatever the components with the stipulated time, they will make the 3D printer. Okay, the 3D printing components. Okay, so where here this how why it has been required for the industry also. So in previously everybody know that diagrammatic printer, 2D printer, but 3D printer means whatever the shape of the tie, either it is a simple shape, even a child will cry. So if you show one component, either horse or elephant, that photo shape if it is in the CAD or AutoCAD, and that will be processed, and with fluid deposit machine, some different methods are there in order to make the 3D printer components. Within fraction of time that component may be existed, so that the child will stop crying. Okay, so like that, still another couple of years, all items also will come into 3D. Every shop there will be one 3D printer. Whatever the thing you may get, will do with the some design and some data processing, and finally 3D product can be obtained. So look at the a simple schematic diagram of how they can do the rapid prototype printing or 3D printing. So first diagram will be taken into the CAD or 3D scanner, and that will be processed, and the wire will frame in a layer by layer will form done, so that whatever the shape may be obtained, that shape will be will got. Okay, so in general, there is a lot of difference between a 3D printing with respect to conventional manufacturing process. In general, you can see the major advantages of conventional machining or manufacturing process. Conventional means widespread critical use, okay, and also long-term clinical outcomes may be obtained in the conventional process. But whereas in the case of 3D printing or rapid prototyping process, any complex or different design components can be easily adjusted with the porous in nature. Okay, and also it can be enhanced by fixation. Okay, and the cup size optimization can be developed in a 3D printing, and easily customized at a personal whatever the customer requirement, that easily can be done with the rapid prototyping. So even for conventional or 3D printing, some of the limitations also will be there. Majorly, coming to the conventional manufacturing process, poor fixation, there is a limited design freedom, and customization is limited. Okay, so that will comes under the conventional modeling. And where in the case of 3D printing, main disadvantages is absence of implant investigations. Few reported clinical outcomes can be major drawback for the 3D printing, and even absence of some implant investigations, some poorly potential risk and clinical impact understood will be occurred. That is a one drawback for the 3D printing. Okay, so like that you are supposed to explain two marks sent questions with some technical terms only. Okay, so like that, explain the need of rapid prototyping in industry. So because complex shapes and variety component, the customer requirement, we can easily meet. That's why industry is growing exponentially for the 3D printing. Okay, and also some of the various types of 3D printing process. You have the fusion deposit machining. Okay, so different type of process also available, and you can mention the advantages, disadvantages, and limitations about this thing. Okay, and this is what about the some questions related to 3D printing or rapid prototyping. So coming to this long answer questions, only thing is either it may be 14 marks or 20 marks question. First of all, any questions, for example, you can see the explain forward and backward extrusion. So because it is not a short question, a long question means first you can explain what is an extrusion process and what is the classification of extrusion, and again it can be classified into either forward or backward, and you can draw the neat sketch for the forward extrusion, or we can also call the direct extrusion, and backward means indirect extrusion. So only thing is forward means the direction of the raw material and outcome. The output also will be in same direction, and whereas backward means only one direction raw material, the same direction only it will coming out of the finished product. So that's why it is an indirect extrusion. So you can draw the line diagram of forward, backward, and you can specify the what are the name of the parts in that extrusion, and you can write the principle involved in that extrusion process, and what are the advantages, limitations, and applications of this extrusion. Also you can write some pipes, some design, and some simple shaped components also can be made with this extrusion process. And here another thing is impact extrusion. Discuss the process of impact extrusion. 14 marks question. So first of all, in this case also you can explain the what is extrusion, again classification. Then you can focus on impact extrusion. So you can see the three-dimensional diagram, but examination point of view, you no need to draw in a 3D diagram. Only some line diagrams there will be. So one workpiece, the die, and this is a blank, and this is the punch. So how the punch can be applied. Okay, so there is a this blank will be touch in this punch. Okay, so that whatever the shape, by seeing the front view it will show in a rectangle, by seeing the top view that show it is a circular in shape. A cylinder can be made up of this impact extrusion. Now you can see the even toothpaste tubes and all, either close up or Colgate, that and all made up of this impact extrusion process only. And now they can insert the small amount of quantity only they can put, and you can add the lot of air, so that the consuming of the final product will be utilized within a stipulated time. One important thing, the design parameter also very important in this case. All the toothpaste, even it is a 5 rupees, once upon a time, every home they can use. If you purchase a one toothpaste, it will come 1 month or 2 months like that, because that there is no hole, and the hole can be made with a little bit. Now you can see the even a small 5 rupees toothpaste tube paste also, the large diameter hole can be created. When you press it, the consumption of amount will be come out, so that only it will come within 5 to 10 days it will be consumed. So previously 1 month it is consuming, now only, so then only can able to purchase a new component. There is some marketing technique. Okay, so that is why in that tube extrusion, that outcome the diameter can be increased, so that when you small apply the pressure itself, the large amount can be coming out. Okay, and also you can see what are the advantages of hydrostatic extrusion. So where the different type of fluids to be used, paraffin and some oils, etc., in order to apply the pressure effectively without sound making. Okay, and also some hot and cold extrusion. So these also where you can use the heated condition, that is called hot extrusion, and at the same time the metals can be heated above its recrystallization temperature, we call the hot extrusion. Below its recrystallization temperature, it is called the cold extrusion process. Okay, and coming to this, how do you find the forces in extrusion process? So this is also one interesting one. Some mathematical formulas also will be there. Okay, that force, how do you calculate it? Okay, so that force into area, how you can, so that the work done will be obtained, and there is some technical formulas also is available. You can go through any some Goshen Malik textbook, so that from research point of view you will apply the what are the force. Even you can see the impact extrusion also, how much force should be applied in this blank in order to get the some rectangular shape. Okay, so that force is equal to what is the contact area, surface area, you can able to develop. So that way also, and what is the clearance to be also added, some extra part to be removed also, that also things to be considered for determining of the forces in the extrusion process. And even this extrusion, all the process not up to the mark, some flaws also will be there, some defects. What are the defects? So for this extrusion process also, because of the process, either it may be direct or indirect or hot and cold extrusion, even impact extrusion also, some defects, common defects where you can find out in the extrusion process are improper system. So improper system engineering or installation, so there is a defect. And improper operation, you should operate effectively, you should follow the some rules and some regulations for that machine. and improper material addition. So suppose changing of the material to material, some purging can be done. So otherwise, if you use first LDPE material, the next time if you use the nylon material, it cannot, it will stuck inside that nozzle and all. So that is why you should able to do some uh, good purging can be done, and so that there is no stick on that mold and all, etc. And another thing is poor mixing. So suppose when you wanted to add two or three metals, so the mixing should be proper. There is a proper mixer and dryer should be used in order to get the good surface finished components. And also overheating. So even whatever the temperature is required, you can able to maintain the particular temperature only in a hot extrusion process. So if you overheat means it will become some fluid level, so that it cannot able to do some good operations. Okay, and also some moisture release. So whenever the metals due to even the environmental effect, seasonal also, some moisture will take place. In order to eliminate some preheating also can be done. Okay, and contamination, so that metals will be contaminated inside the mold also. You should be able to clean and do the proper work. So this is what about the some important things where you can project in the examination point of view. uh, and also some lubricants also can be used for to free flow of the component and all, either grease and diesel, etc. These also can be utilized. And coming to this another different topic, that is called rapid prototyping or 3D printing. So what type of questions they may ask for the semester examination, or even in the competitive examinations also, look at, discuss the evolution of rapid prototyping system, indicating the history and their growth rate in the industrial sector. So here the student are supposed to write clearly when it has been started rapid prototyping system, and also you should indicate the history, at least for the past 10 years history. Okay, and how the growth rate it is developing each year, or every 2 years, or every 5 years, or every 10 years. That thing can be explained with the graphical representation. That is very important, especially even you can see the, so there is a lot of changes. Initially dat matrix printer is there very long time, after that inkjet printer has come. So that is also a very few years, 1 or 2 years only it has been existed, because that color parts can be made, but the costlier. So then again the laser printer has been existed. It is still, it is available. Everybody using laser printer only, because that more productivity and output and cost. The refilling of the powder also very easily. That is why still it is existing in laser printer. Now we can see the 3D printers. 3D printers also they're using wires, but time taking is a little bit more. So even the still the research is going on for, so that how to improve the production rate for the 3D printing also. And whenever when you wanted to select the rapid prototype process selection, so you should be able to remember the five major important things you can see in the diagram. So what is the purpose of that component, and what is the cost? How do you, so even a common man can able to afford to purchase that price, that component. Complexity, so even any type of complex shapes also you can easily produce by 3D printing. And quantity, quality, so everywhere nowadays the quality is the criteria. So the people are going to afford whatever money if a quality component is there. Even you can see nowadays the even televisions also, once upon a time Dynora and Iva TVs are there. Now all LED, LCD, okay, very large screen type of has been occurred, because the people are some quality, and they can afford more price also if it is a quality product. So like that, even 3D printing also, by comparing, so whatever the design you made in the system, the same component, 3D component will be shown within a 1 or 2 hours. Definitely it is attractive, and the people are also can afford the price for 3D printing. And even one more thing is the fit, function and form. So whatever you wanted to fit, whatever the produced component is able to fit or not, and it can be functioned properly or not, and it can able to form. So any, suppose when you wanted to change the material, it can able to form or not. So these are the three important parameters and five factors to selection of a rapid prototyping type process selection, that is cost, complexity, quality, quantity and purpose. So then only you can able to have a good idea about this thing. Okay, and similarly let us see the how the problems questions summarize the key aspects of rapid prototyping and explain with an example historical development of rapid prototype technologies. Especially here you can able to summarize what is the main aspect rapid prototyping, how it can generate it, so how it is going on now. So with some examples, historical examples, you can developing this rapid prototyping technology that you can able to explain. And one more thing is explain the difference between traditional prototyping and rapid prototyping. So this is what I explained. This is what 3D printing and conventional. Conventional means traditional. So you need to explain clearly some step by step procedure. So widespread clinical use, you can use the conventional. Long term clinical outcomes, and some any conventional, it is a traditional one. The cost also at the time very less only. So nowadays when you wanted to use 3D printing, but any complex shape, but when conventionally it take lot of time and quality and that specification also not to get up to the mark. So that's why obviously you can go for the 3D printing, that is rapid prototyping. So simple advantage is complex and easily adjustable, porous, and the cup size optimization can be performed and easily customized and personalized can be done. Okay, and even this also conventional also there is a limitations, and 3D printing also some limitations are there. That is what the poor fixation still issuing a THA, and limited design freedom. Limited design freedom. Conventional means when you wanted to change a small shape also, it is difficult to. When you change one parameter, they are addicted to certain procedure. So that is why any changes can be made with the 3D printing only, because in the design change itself, the final component can be obtained. Okay, so that is what about the uh, this thing. Okay, and coming to the categorize applications in rapid prototype technology, especially even you can see the construction field, the some 3D printing houses also doing in IIT Madras. Not only that, houses, some medical application, bio applications, and some automobile applications also widely used this rapid prototyping technology. So that is why still and the fast growth is going on. So in future also it is a lot of that is consumer and industrial sectors also can be improved. Okay, so this is what about the long answer should be able to explain clearly. And let us see the basic difference between a rapid prototyping and traditional. So in general, traditional means this is a subtractive. 3D printing means additive. By adding layer by layer, you can call it as a 3D printing. But in traditional or conventional means it is a subtractive. What is the effective amount of material, men, machine, that is also important. Parts built by removing the metal from block of unwanted materials. That is even metal machining process. In a lathe also removing the extra material. Okay, and one more important thing, the more human interactions and human expertise is required for the traditional or conventional one. So if you don't have skill, it is difficult to produce the component. It takes more time. Traditional means we should do the design and raw material selection and machine selection and skilled person. So that the time takes little bit high in the traditional thing, and less clean in the process. Traditional means it is a continuous process, shift by shift it is going on. So the proper cleaning and some more manpower is required in this process, and useful for easy and simple shapes. So even a traditional thing, a simple shape, one or two changes will be there. We can easily produce by traditional prototyping. So where in the case of rapid prototyping or 3D printing, majorly the process is considered as a additive, layer by layer method can be adopted, and this can be controlled mostly the machines and software. Very less human interaction is very less in the rapid prototyping or 3D printing, and models are created faster, okay, and reduce time in between the iterations. Okay, nowadays if you do, even if you're manufacturing a chair or a table, so it will take minimum 3 to 4 days. But where in the case of this 3D printing or rapid prototyping, within first designing and apply and all the principle, the stereolithograph and FDM, the methods can be used to develop any complex shaped component, and some cleaner the process. Whenever the rapid prototyping manufacturing preparation, that the environment, outside environment will be clean and good. So less dust and wastage also can be minimized. Okay, and difficult shapes can be built by only the rapid prototyping. Simple shapes and all made with the traditional or conventional process. Okay, so this is what about the rapid prototyping with the traditional rapid prototyping. Now you think, see, critical thinking questions. Only thing is there some twisting can be done. The student can able to understand clearly the manufacturing process. Either he is a focus on only diagram or some principle, and he is a critical thinking, out of box thinking he is doing or not. So for any question paper, generally 10 to 20% questions frame with the critical thinking. So in a class, there will be a topper and some the person who secured less percentage also will be there. So whenever the topper will think in out of box thinking and critical thinking process, and whereas ordinary human being so can able to assess very effectively in this case. Okay, and let us look at the some of the different type of questions for the critical thinking process. Determine the forms when the material is subjected to extrusion process. So that is what are the various forms, what type of material to be used in extrusion process. You can able to list out and explain with the help of the neat sketches also. Okay, and compare the difference between a forward and backward and impact extrusion. So three, you can look at. So in general, extrusion is the process where two type of extrusion. One is one direct extrusion and another one is indirect extrusion. So in the direct extrusion, you can see inside there will be a die and there will be a ram and billet. Billet kept between two jars. So when you apply the pressure, it can able to move easily. Similarly, if you take the indirect extrusion process, here opposite direction, the raw material enter in this side and the outcome of the raw materials return come back to small opening called that die. Okay, so that is the basic difference between a extrusion process. Okay, so I hope the student can understand clearly to attempt the short answer questions and long answer questions and some creative thinking also. So for even though the manufacturing process is a some theoretical process, theoretical subject, when you wanted to score maximum marks, you need to project the neat diagrams and wherever needed some principles to be added and technical definitions of advantages and limitations, and sometimes applications also will be required for the extrusion process. So some what you call either pipe extrusion or film extrusion also will be there, or blown film extrusion process. The thin sheet can be used for blow molding process, and how you can able to project all these things. Okay, So this is what about the critical thinking question. You need to explain clearly, and I hope whatever the questions they may ask, you can read one or two times. Then, if you get the idea about that method or advantages or limitations or anything, you can able to project easily. Okay, so thank you, students. I hope all the students can understand clearly about this rapid prototyping and extrusion process. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you.
Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.